Now let us discuss another starting method for our slip ring induction motor. Okay, this is the only one starting method for our slip ring induction motor, that is rotor resistance starting. So for squirrel cage induction motor we were applying reduced supply voltage, but in case of our slip ring induction motor we can apply our rated supply voltage directly onto our stator winding. Okay, so here the method is rotor resistance starting method. That means we are going to add some variable resistance in the rotor circuit through slip rings and brushes, and the rotor resistance is connected in star connection. Okay, and you already know that our rotor of slip ring induction motor is always connected in star connection, whether the stator is connected either in star or delta. That means the rotor of slip ring induction motor, this is my slip ring induction motor, should always be connected in star irrespective of stator connection. Okay, so what we are doing, we are going to limit the starting current. Okay, so for that we are going to keep the resistors in the rotor circuit. Initially they are at the maximum resistance position. That means at this position the three phases are having maximum resistance in the rotor circuit. Okay, so by using this we are going to increase the rotor resistance. Okay, so that our rotor current will reduce. So our rotor current is directly proportional to our stator current, so our stator current will also be reduced. Okay, due to increase in rotor resistance our starting torque will increase. Okay, and our power factor, which is ratio of R2 by Z2, will also increase with increase in rotor resistance. So with increase in rotor resistance our starting torque is increased and our power factor at the starting is also increased, but the starting current is limited, and as well as our rotor current is also limited. Okay, because they are directly proportional. So here the increasing components are starting torque and power factor, but the decreasing components are stator currents as well as rotor currents. Okay, so the resistors will be turned on using brushes through slip rings to our rotor circuit. Okay, the resistors are at maximum position. Okay, the movement of these switches will be manual or automatic. Okay, there will be no load voltage coil as well as overload protection included in the starter. Okay, that is not mentioned here. Okay, so whenever we are applying the rated voltage we will be applying at the time of starting a maximum rotor external resistance. So gradually whenever our rotor attains some speed, this rotor resistance will be gradually decreased by moving this switch. Okay, this can be done manually or automatically. So gradually it is reduced and the rotor is, the slip rings are short circuited. You can see here we are bypassing the resistors after our motor attained some speed. Let me say our rotor attained 80% of rated speed. Okay, at the speed of the rotor attained 80% of rated speed, these external resistance will be turned off. That means they will be short circuited, they will be bypassed using the switch. Okay, so the brushes will be lifted. Okay, and our slip rings will be short circuited. So this will be only left with our rotor circuit. Okay, so our external resistance will be keeping for starting purpose only. After some speed attained by the rotor we will be disconnecting our rotor resistance. So this is about rotor resistance starting. As we are increasing the rotor resistance, our rotor current will decrease. As rotor current is proportional to our stator current I1, because I2 is reduced, I1 will also reduce. Okay, so this will reduce the starting current. Okay, starting current will be reduced, but the increasing components are starting torque will increase as the rotor resistance increase, and power factor cos theta, which is proportional to rotor resistance, will also be increased. Okay, by using rotor resistance control in slip ring induction motor we can increase the starting torque and starting power factor, and we can reduce the starting currents. So this is the about rotor resistance starting. Okay, this is the only starting method in slip ring induction motor. Okay, thank you. Hello students, now let us see the rotor resistance method. Okay, so as I earlier told you, we are going to add external resistance to rotor circuit at the time of starting, that will reduce the starting current. Here this is the external resistance per phase added to rotor resistance per phase. Okay, the section A to B is a external rotor resistance that is connected to a one phase of our three phase rotor circuit, that is R2 dash. That means we will be having our rotor circuit connected in star in our slip ring induction motor. Okay, this is my R2 dash here, our rotor resistance per phase. So I am going to connect some external resistance. Okay, this is R1, R2, R3, R4 at the time of starting, and this will be connected to in star only. Okay, these are the external resistance that are going to be connected for slip ring induction motors at the time of starting. So I considered one phase here, this one phase for simplicity. Okay, let us do some mathematical calculations for better understanding of our rotor resistance starting. Okay, now we have to understand the rotor resistance first. Here you can see the A and B is the section of rotor external resistance that is going to be connected with individual rotor sections R1, R2, R3, R4. up to Rn dash Rn minus 1. Okay, and the number of steps are 1, 2, and this is 3. Okay, we are going to connect the external resistance with maximum value at the time of starting, but gradually we are going to reduce the external resistance, and our speed of the machine will gradually increases from 0. Okay, this will increase, speed will increase as we are moving our external resistance circuit from step by step. Gradually we are going to reduce the external resistance, and we will make it completely disconnected once our rotor attained 80% of rated speed. Okay, once our rotor of the induction machine attained 80% of rated speed, we are going to disconnect the complete external circuit in the rotor, and we are going to keep only our rotor resistance. Then our motor will operate under normal condition. Okay, so this is the idea. We are going to reduce the resistance step by step, so that our machine will linearly gains the speed and comes to normal operating condition. So let us observe the things here. Here R1, R2, R3 and so on are total resistance including our rotor resistance. Here you can see R1 is nothing but R1 plus, R2 plus, R3 plus and so on, Rn minus 1 in addition to our rotor resistance per phase R2 dash. Okay, this is at stud 1, this is at stud number 1. Okay, at start, whenever I move this switch to number 2 position, I will disconnect R1 from the circuit. That means I will left with R2 only. Whenever I connect, R2 is the only resistance we have. R2 is nothing but R2 plus R3 and so on, Rn minus 1 plus our rotor resistance at number 2. So this will be continuously reducing, and our switch will be connected to N, stud number N. There we only have our rotor resistance under normal operating condition. This is when our normal operating condition. That means complete external circuit will be disconnected from the supply. Okay, as we are moving our switch from maximum value to N minimum value, our motor attains some speed and that comes to normal operating condition. So we will be left with only rotor resistance per phase. Okay, so this is idea, and N is the number of steps, N minus 1 is the number of sections. That means number of sections means R1, R2, R3 and so on, Rn minus 1 are the number of sections here. Okay, now here we have to make two assumptions here. What are they? They are, that means the motor starts against a constant torque. Okay, the starting torque of the motor is assumed constant, and here the starting current, the rotor current fluctuates between two fixed positions. They are maximum position and minimum position. Okay, let us see what are they. Okay, our current at the time of starting condition, our slip S1 is 1 maximum. Okay, and our rotor speed is 0. There is no rotor speed at the time of starting, and what is the current that will be drawn from the supply is maximum value. That means at the time of starting our slip is 1 and there is no rotor speed and our current is maximum. Okay, that means our rotor current will become maximum value, that will be equal to E2 by, and E2 is the rotor EMF per phase, rotor EMF induced per phase. You already know that. So the current expression will become, so initially we are going to add total resistance, that is R1 rotor resistance by slip S1, okay, whole square plus x2 square. So this is the maximum current at the time of starting with resistance R1, and the position of the switch is at stud number 1. Okay, this is my position. Now what happens is, whenever our rotor picks up some speed, that means at the time of starting that was 0, now our rotor starts rotating, so our slip value will become less than 1, S will become less than 1. That means our S2, I consider first one as S1, so now this is S2, so S2 will always be less than our S1. Okay, so because slip is reduced, our current will reduce. Okay, so that will be called as minimum current, that will be equal to E2 by resistance is same R1 by slip is changed here, this is S2. Okay, so as the slip is reduced, our current is reduced to minimum value. Now what we do, we will change this stud to position 2. This is my new position of the switch. That means our rotor resistance will be connected to R2 here to switch 2. Now what happens, we have changed the rotor resistance from R1 to R2. As R2 is less than R1, that means we have disconnected some resistance, that means the resistance of the rotor circuit is reduced now. So what will happen, because resistance is reduced, our current will again draw maximum current, that means our current will again be maximum value, because we have reduced some resistance, but slip cannot be changed suddenly. We switched the resistance, but the speed of the machine can't change momentarily. Okay, there is no change in the rotor resistance. Okay, there is no change in the rotor resistance suddenly, that means there will be no change in the slip. That means the slip will be same, but the current will be maximum at the time of switching to second position. That means our current will become, how the resistance is R2 here, but the slip is same. Slip can't change suddenly. Okay, as speed of the machine can't change suddenly, our slip can't change. This is my new slip S2. Now what happens? After some time the slip will reduce. As slip will reduce, our current will reduce to minimum value. So that will become R2 by, now the new slip is S3. You can observe the thing, right? Okay, the slip is changing from here to here, but it is constant from here to here. Okay, the current is changing from here to here, and the current is changing from here to here. It is maximum here, minimum here, maximum here, minimum here. Slip is S1 here, S2 here, but the slip is same here, and it is now reducing. Slip is reducing from this to this, and it is not reducing from this to this. Okay, slip is reducing from maximum value to minimum value, but it is same for minimum value to maximum value. Okay, so this is the idea. As slip value reducing, our current will reduce. Okay, so this will continue until we get our rated current, that is under running condition, normal running operation. Whenever we connect this switch to, this process will continue till we get our normal operating condition. That means this will be equal to our rotor resistance current resistance R2 dash by S at normal operating condition S maximum plus X2 dash. So this process will continue as we are forwarding step by step, and it will continue until we connect the switch to N position. The resistance will be equal to rotor resistance per phase R2 dash. Okay, so this process will continue, and the minimum current will also continue until we get Rn minus 1 by Rn minus 1 E2 by Rn minus 1 by S maximum whole square plus X2 square. So after this the maximum value will be the final one R2 dash. Okay, after Rn minus 1. Okay, that means after Rn minus 1 is this one. After Rn minus 1 I will connect to nth step, that will become R2 dash by S maximum and X2 square. So our S maximum is nothing but slip at normal operating condition. Okay, by now our speed of the machine will attain rated speed. Okay, by our whenever this switch reaches to N position, by then our speed of the machine attains some rated speed or about 80% of rated speed. So this is the idea here. Now from these two equations we can observe two things. Okay, from I2 maximum and I2 minimum we can observe two things, that all these expressions are equal. So I can make these terms equal. That means our R1 by S1 can be equal to R2 by S2 and R3 by S3 and so on. I can equate these two R n minus 1 by S n minus 1 equal to our normal running condition, that is R2 dash by S maximum. Okay, this is my equation 1. I am considering it as equation 1. So from this I2 minimum also I can write it as R1 by S2 equal to R2 by S3 equal to R3 by S4 and so on equal to R n minus 1 by S maximum. Okay, this I can write from these equations, and I am going to take it as equation 2. Okay, these two are the expressions I written from I2 maximum and I2 minimum. That means our supply current or rotor current is fluctuating between two fixed positions, that is maximum current and minimum current. Okay, this is the idea. Now let us see what is happening. We can calculate the external rotor resistance, okay, R1, R2 and individual rotor resistance using these expressions. So by dividing equation 1 with equation 2, I can write it as S1 by S2 by S1 equal to S3 by S2 equal to S4 by S3 and so on, S max by S n minus 1. Okay, and this can be equivalent to my R2 by R1 equal to R2 by R3 by R2 and so on, R2 dash by my Rn minus 1. Okay, I can write like this. Okay, now I am making this whole expression equal to k. I am saying the expression is equal to k. Now let us see what is happening. The beauty is, from equation 1 I can take it as, from equation 1 I can write R1 by S1 equal to my R2 dash by S max. Okay, I can write from equation 1 R1 by S1 equal to my R2 dash, which is rotor resistance per phase, by S maximum. Okay, so this will be equal to R1 equal to, I can write it as R2 dash by S1 by S maximum. Okay, so S1 is the slip at our position 1, that means slip at starting. So slip at starting is nothing but at starting, slip at starting, you know the value of slip at starting as equal to 1. So the rest of the expression will become R1 equal to R2 dash, which is the rotor resistance, by S max, which is our slip at running condition. So this is the expression for this R1, which is sum of R1 plus R2 plus until Rn minus 1 in addition to our rotor resistance. So this is one we got. Now from expression 2, from this expression, I can write it as R2 by R1 equal to K. Okay, so this can be written as R2 equal to K times R1 when I multiply R1 with K, and I can write like R3 by R2 equal to K, which can be written as R3 equal to K times R2. Okay, so I can replace my R2 here with KR1, that will become K times KR1, that will be K square times R1. Okay, and so on. I can write R4 by R3 equal to K, that will become R4 equal to K times R3. Okay, I can replace R3 with K square times R1. Okay, I can replace R3 with K square times R1, that will become K cube times R1. That means you can write it as my R2 dash is nothing but resistance at N star, that will become resistance at N star, that will actually this is R2 is KR1, okay, R3 is K square R1 and R4 is K cube R1. These are the expressions we got till now. Okay, so you can write R4 is nothing but R4, this is 4 here, this is let me consider this as N, this will become N minus 1 into R1. That means R2 dash is resistance at N star, that will be equal to K power N minus 1. This is resistance at 1, that will become N minus 1 into R1. Okay, this is the expression for my rotor resistance per phase with our K value and total rotor resistance. Okay, if I replace this R1 with this expression, that will become, okay, that will be equal to R2 dash equal to K power N minus 1 into, I am replacing R1 with R2 dash by S maximum. Okay, there is no need to confuse here. We are replacing this R1 value with our R2 dash by S maximum, and I have written this expression based on these expressions. That is, initially it is at position 2, that means 2 minus 1 is the power of K. Okay, this is at 3, that is 3 minus 1 is the power of K. It is at 4, 4 minus 1 is the power of K. Now it is at R2 dash is nothing but, whenever I connect this to N position, okay, R2 dash is nothing but the resistance at N position, that will become, N is position here, that will become K power N minus 1 into R1. Okay, so now I can cancel out R2 dash and R2 dash. The value of K can be written as K value equal to S maximum by 1 by 1 minus N. S maximum into power of S maximum is 1 by 1 minus N. Okay, so this is the expression for value of K here. K value is S maximum power 1 by 1 minus N, 1 by N minus 1, 1 by N minus 1. So this is the value of K here. Okay, value of K is S maximum power 1 by N minus 1, where N is the number of starter stud. Okay, where N is the number of starter studs, and S maximum is slip at normal operating condition. Okay, so this is the value of K, and these are the things to remember here, this one and this one. Okay, we will be doing some problem actually, so that you must remember those things. Now let us calculate the individual studs here. Okay, let us calculate the individual stud values. Okay, let me calculate our R1 first. R1 is nothing but, I can write it as total resistance R1 minus until this. Okay, total resistance minus this resistance, that means R1 minus R2 can be written as my small r1. Okay, so this will be written as R1 minus R2 is nothing but KR1. R2 is nothing but K times R1, so that will be equal to R1 into 1 minus K. Okay, can you write like this? Now our second rotor stud R2 can be written as R2 minus R3. Okay, that can be written as my R1 K times R1 minus K square times R2, K square times R1. Okay, I can write R2 as K times R1 and R3 as K square times R1, that will become R1 into K minus K square. Okay, so similarly I can write R3 equal to R4 minus R3. Okay, when I subtract R4, this complete R3, this is R3, this is R3, right? This is R3, this is R4. When I subtract R3 from R4, that will be left with R3. Okay, so that will become K square times R1 minus K cube times R1, that will become R1 times into k square minus k cube. Okay, that means I can write this as equal to, if I take the k common, that will become k times r1 into 1 minus k. Okay, here if I take the k common, r1 into 1 minus k, this r1 into 1 minus k is nothing but my small r1, that means this is my k r1. R2 is nothing but k times r1. Similarly, I can write r3 is nothing but k square times r1. Okay, so this is the value of r3 and this is the value of small r2, this is the small value of r1. Hence, it is seen from above that if S maximum is known for the assumed value of I2 max of the starting current, then n can be calculated. So let us take some problem so that you can understand the whole concept clearly. Okay, let me take a problem. Now let us see a problem based on our rotor resistance. Okay, so the problem is calculate the steps in a 5-step rotor. Okay, rotor resistance starter for a 3-phase induction motor. The slip at maximum starting current is 2%, which slip ring short circuited and the resistance per rotor phase is 0.02. Okay, he asked you to calculate the steps in 5-step rotor. You have to calculate these steps R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, 5 steps with the number of studs as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let us write the given data first. Okay, given data is there are 5 step studs, that means R1, R2, R3, R4 and R5. That means number of sections are 5 and number of steps are 6. Okay, number of sections are 5 but number of steps are 6. Okay, you can see these steps are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now he asked us to find R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. He asked us to find number of calculate the steps. Okay, now for that, and the given data is slip rate maximum current condition, that is S max is 2%. Okay, this is the slip rate maximum condition, that is 0.02. Okay, and he short circuited the rotor resistance and the rotor phase resistance per phase is, that means our rotor resistance per phase is nothing but this one. Okay, R2 dash, only rotor resistance that he given as R2 dash equal to 0.02. Okay, now we have to find our R1, R2, R3, R4. So how can we find R1? R1 is nothing but our capital R1 times 1 minus k. Okay, from previous equation, and R2 is equal to k times my small r1. Okay, and R3 equal to k square times small r1. R4 equal to k cube times small r1, and R5 is nothing but k power 4 times my small r1. Okay, so let us calculate the value of k and r1 so that we can get small r1. If you get k and small r1, you can get all the number of sections. Okay, so let us find the value of k first. Okay, k is nothing but we have the expression for k with S maximum equal to S maximum by n minus 1. This is the expression for value of k. Okay, this is the expression to find the value of k here. So the k can be found by substituting the values. S maximum is 0.02 here. Okay, and the number of sections are 6. So number of sections are 5, but number of steps are 6 here. So I can write as 6 minus 1. Okay, the value of k will be equal to 0.4573. Okay, after calculation, after simplifying, the value of k is 0.4573. Okay, we got value of k here. Now we have to calculate the value of our R1, which is nothing but our total resistance R1. So we have the expression for R1, which is equal to our only total rotor resistance by S maximum. This is another relation we have for rotor resistance starter. Okay, so this is another expression. Yes, by substituting the value of R2 dash, which is rotor resistance given as 0.02, and our slip at maximum condition, that will be equal to our R1. Okay, our R2 dash is nothing but rotor resistance per phase 0.02 and slip rate maximum is 0.02. So R1 is equal to 1 ohm here. Okay, we got the value of k as 0.4573 and the value of k R1 as 1 ohm. So by using these data, we can calculate our R1, R2, R3, R4 and small r1s. Okay, now let me calculate small r1, that will be equal to 1 into 1 minus 0.4573. Okay, and R2 is equal to k is nothing but 0.4573 times R1. Okay, what is the value of R1 here? The value of R1 is 0.5427. The value of R1 is 0.5437. Okay, the value of R1 is 0.546. If you multiply this 5437, which is the value of R1 with k value, you will get R2, that will be equal to of R2 is 0.2482 ohms. and the value of R3 is, if you multiply our K value, K square times our value of R1, which equal 0.5437. If you get value of K and R1, you can find out all the values. Okay, that is the idea. So to find the K value, this is the expression. To find the R1, this is the expression. Okay, so let us find R3 here. So R3 is equal to 0.1135 ohm, and R4 is nothing but 0.4573 whole cube, or which can be also be equal to, okay, which R4 is nothing but K times R3 also. Okay, R4 is nothing but K times R3. You can find that one also. Okay, what I am doing, this is 5437. So the value of R4 is 0.0579. Okay, so the value of R4 is 0.0519, and the final value is, I can write R5 as K times R4 also. So that will become 0.4573 into this one 0.0519, which will be equal to 0.0237 ohm. So these are the values of individual studs values. So to get these values, total resistance value, R2 is nothing but, okay, R2 is nothing but K times R1. Okay, R2 is nothing but K times R1, and R3 is nothing but K times R2, and R4 is nothing but K times R3, and R5 is nothing but K times R4, etc. And R5, which is last one, R5 is nothing but K times R4. Okay, now let us find these values. Okay, so R1 is 1 ohm, and R2 is 0.4573 times 1. Okay, value of K is 0.4573 into 1, that will become 0.4573. Okay, now let us calculate R3, that will become 0.4573 into R2 value is 0.4573, that equal to our 0.2091 ohm. Okay, all are ohmic values, and R4 is nothing but 0.4573 value of K into value of R3 here, that will be equal to 0.2091 equal to R4 is nothing but 0.050956 ohm, and final value R5 is nothing but 0.4573 K value into 0.0956 R4 value, and R5 value is 0.0437. So these are the values for R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, and capital R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. Okay, so this is about rotor resistance control. Okay, these two are the important expressions to be remembered for entire concept. Okay, these two are the entire concept, and the relation between these one. Okay, the relation between R1, R2 by R1 equal to R3 by R2 equal to K. Okay, and the relation between these one, R1 equal to small r1 equal to capital R1 times 1 minus K, and small r2 equal to K times R1, and small r3 is equal to K times R2. This R3 can also be written as K times small r2, and this R4 can be written as K times R3, and this R5 is written as K times R4. Okay, so anyway you can get the expressions and answers. So with this we have concluded our starting methods of induction machine. Okay, I hope you understand. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Thank you.